It's wild right here.
Chicago experienced one of the deadliest months in recent history. 90 people were shot and killed, nearly 3 every single day. Hundreds more were wounded. It was a level of gun violence that pushed the city to its breaking point. Emergency rooms were overwhelmed. Police were stretched thin. Ambulance calls poured in one after another. Trauma surgeons worked non-stop as shooting victims flooded hospitals across the south and west sides. Detectives scrambled to process dozens of active crime scenes, many before the blood had even dried from the last. The murder count that month was the highest Chicago has seen in 2 decades.
Chicago has been hit with a major spike in gun violence. 10 people were shot overnight. In June, 447 people were shot in that city. That's nearly 15 per day. DeMarco Morgan tells us what the police department is doing about it.
72 people were killed in the month of June, and there have already been 350 homicides in Chicago this year, outpacing the total for the same period last year. The city may even surpass 600 murders for the first time in more than a decade. And Chicago police are warning the city could see one of its most violent and deadly holiday weekends on record.
Before we get started on this video, make sure you go check out my website that's in the description, where I post viral videos daily. And plus, make sure you like the video and share it with someone to spread the violence awareness. On Monday, August 1st, 2016, in the heart of Chicago lawn, Miguel Diaz, 28, stood near his home on the 3900 block of West 68th Street. Without warning, at 2:00 p.m., gunshots rang out. Diaz was struck in the head. Bystanders called for help immediately. Paramedics arrived within minutes and transported him to Advocate Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn, where doctors fought to save his life. The medical examiner's report was clear: homicide, multiple gunshot wounds, a life cut short in his own neighborhood. Early on Tuesday, August 2nd, 2016, Dante Lee, just 29, walked down the sidewalk along the 5200 block of West Gladys Avenue in Austin. It was approximately 12:30 a.m. Out of nowhere, a white car pulled alongside. Someone leapt out and fired, the bullet piercing Lee's chest. He fell where he stood. Moments stretched into minutes. Emergency responders arrived, but there was nothing they could do. At precisely 1:00 a.m., the Cook County medical examiner pronounced him dead at the scene. Lee lived in Maywood on the 1200 block of South 15th Avenue and was known to authorities as a documented gang member. No arrests have been made. The shooter remains unidentified. On Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016, 58-year-old Penny Gerhardt, a dedicated Streetwise vendor and grandmother, was walking along the 4500 block of North Sheridan Road in uptown Chicago. At approximately 3:15 p.m., gunfire erupted from a passing vehicle. Penny, along with a 58-year-old man, became casualties of a drive-by shooting believed to be tied to gang violence. Penny was struck in the torso. She was transported to Illinois Masonic Medical Center, where she succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead in the pre-dawn hours of August 4th, 2016. Torius Kiefer, age 21, was behind the wheel near the 10,200 block of South Lafayette on Chicago's Far South Side. At approximately 2:35 a.m., firing erupted. His vehicle swerved into the side of a garage. Emergency teams discovered he had been shot in the left eye and died instantly. In that split second, a young life extinguished, and the community awoke to another senseless loss. On Friday afternoon, August 5th, 2016, 15-year-old Mario Venegas Jr. was inside a Humboldt Park apartment on West Evergreen Avenue when a firearm accidentally discharged at about 1:25 p.m. He fell gravely injured and was transported to Stroger Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on summer afternoon, August 5th, 2016. And DeLance Price, age 16, stepped onto the vacant lot behind the 6700 block of South Wabash Avenue in Park Manor. At roughly 12:40 p.m., the air cracked with rapid-fire gunshots. Neighbors counted nearly a dozen before seeing DeLance crumple. He died there on the dusting grass. No hospital. Officers surveyed the scene in silence. DeLance lived just blocks away on South Wabash. His life ended midday Midsummer. The night was closing in on Pilsen when gunfire shattered the street's calm. At 11:00 p.m., Victor Alvarado, 26, walked alone on South May Street. Bullets from a silver car found their mark, multiple wounds. A frantic dash to Stroger Hospital, but at 12:38 a.m., his life ended. No justice yet, no suspects in custody, a life extinguished in the pulse of one city block. Victor Alvarado was 26 years old when he was shot and killed in a drive-by in Chicago's Pilsen neighborhood. It happened around 11 p.m. on August 6, 2016 in the 1900 block of South May Street. A silver car pulled up, someone inside opened fire, and Victor was hit multiple times. He was rushed to Stroger Hospital and pronounced dead at 12:38 a.m. No arrests were made. It was just after midnight when horror struck West Ridge. Miguel Bahena, age 18, walked silently down Devon Avenue at 12:30 a.m. A stranger emerged, gun drawn. One shot to the chest and Miguel collapsed. Minutes later, he was dead. His life ended on a cold sidewalk. Witnesses saw a gray hoodie disappear into the night. No arrests, no closure. Maurice Selvey was 32 years old when he was gunned down just after 3 a.m. on August 6, 2016. He was standing outside in the 800 block of North Cambridge Avenue when someone opened fire, hitting him in the head and abdomen. Another man, age 33, was also shot in the torso but survived. Maurice was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital and pronounced dead at 3:11 a.m. The other man refused to cooperate with police. No arrests have been made. Shortly after 2:20 a.m. on Sunday, August 7, 2016, at a birthday gathering in the 1300 block of West Hastings at the ABLA Brooks Homes near University Village on the near west side, someone opened fire into a crowded street. 43-year-old Everett Levon Blue Coleman, who had come to celebrate with friends, was struck in the head and chest and died at the scene. At 2:42 a.m., a 40-year-old woman was also hit and was hospitalized in stable condition. Coleman lived on the 2400 block of West Madison, had recently started a job in security, and was left behind by 4 daughters in a grieving community. Sunday morning came too soon for Louis Marin, 29. At around 4:25 a.m., gunfire raked the quiet street of South Torrance Avenue in South Deering. He was hit multiple times in the head. Paramedics arrived to a scene frozen in grief. Marin had already passed by 5:05 a.m. His death, tied to a domestic home invasion, shocked the community and silenced a dedicated CP school security officer and coach. No arrests followed. At approximately 2:20 a.m. on Sunday, August 7, 2016, 17-year-old Corey Buckner stood outside in the 300 block of East 130th Street in the Eden Green/Riverdale neighborhood when gunfire rang out. He and the 41-year-old man were shot. Both were taken to injuries to the head and was pronounced dead at 7:57 a.m. He lived on the 13,200 block of South Eberhard Avenue. A person was arrested shortly afterward but released without charges. On Monday, August 8, 2016, at approximately 2:27 a.m., 25-year-old William Villa was stopped at a red light in a black SUV in the 1100 block of Northwestern Avenue at Division Street in Ukrainian Village. A dark-colored vehicle pulled alongside, and someone inside fired, hitting him in the head. His SUV then rolled forward and crashed into a traffic light. 3 female passengers were uninjured. Villain was taken to Stroger Hospital and pronounced dead at 2:57 a.m. He lived in the 2400 block of South Drake Avenue in Little Village. No arrests were reported. On Monday, August 8, 2016, at 1:18 p.m., 62-year-old Michael Lucas sat on his front porch in the 9100 block of South Cottage Grove Avenue in the Chatham neighborhood when shots were fired toward him. He suffered a fatal neck wound and was pronounced dead at the scene at 1:35 p.m. Lucas lived on the same block. Police indicated he was not the intended target. Detectives continued their investigation, but no arrests were made. At around 2:25 a.m. on Monday, August 8, 2016, officers responding to a shooting found 43-year-old Lee Martin lying on the sidewalk in the 3200 block of West Walnut Street in East Garfield Park. He had suffered gunshot wounds to his head and back and was pronounced dead by 2:39 a.m. Martin lived on the 6500 block of South Loomis Street. An autopsy confirmed homicide by multiple gunshots. No one was arrested. John Jose Jr. was behind the wheel that night in Holman Square. At 9:24 p.m. on August 8, 2016, He heard gunfire and felt immediate pain. His vehicle veered off and came to rest in a vacant lot. Multiple gunshot wounds, arm, back, torso,